Hello, everybody. I am Michael Ray. I am CEO of Notary2Pro, and I'm joined by three lovely ladies, Andrea Dowling, Stephanie Rowland, and Sabrina Engelstadt. This is number 6 or so of our roundtables. And we're all just pleased to be here. We're hoping we're going to have a lot of fun on this one, although we do have sort of a serious topic, right? And Sabrina, I think it's if you want to page forward, we'll talk a little bit about that topic here. And just a reminder before we get into that, we're trying to do these things that are 30 minutes, very impactful information. We know that your time is super, super valuable, and we don't want to burden you with hours and hours of discussion. We try to make this a very impactful, short 30 minutes, and we're focused on 3 areas: growing your business, expanding your skills as a loan signing agent, and making work in your life better. And so those are the topics that we focus on. We're looking at an underappreciated topic today. And Sabrina, kudos to you. You came up with this topic because it is what month?
National Safety Month.
National Safety Month. So Sabrina looked at that and said, you know, we need to talk a little bit about a very important topic, and that's personal safety for loan signing agents. And Sabrina, can you talk a little bit about your topic? Because you actually just wrote an article about this and did a very wonderful little video that everybody can see as well. So
for sure, thank you. So this topic is very pertinent, very important, and I thought it was coming up a lot between me, Andrea, and Stephanie's talks. And I think every loan signing agent, probably every notary, has like a crazy story where they just felt like maybe their safety was a little bit at risk. So I put together a video and also an article that really highlighted 4 different areas that I thought were super important for personal safety. And the first one was researching and informing someone of the location of your signing, which we'll get into. And then also having strict boundaries with your signers, letting them know who you are and why you're there. And then trusting your intuition and being confident during your signings and putting your foot down and just letting them know who you are again. And then last thing, being aware of your surroundings. Okay, this has to do with parking, where you're at, who's around you, and like, yeah. So that's pretty much it. And we're going to be diving more into these topics. So
yeah, we're gonna dive into those in some detail. We were talking just before the call started, though, about the fact that this is summer solstice. It's National Safety Month, but it's also National Something Day, right? And I think you have a poll for everyone. Yep.
Yeah. It is launched. It is ready. Do you know what other holiday today is?
Yeah, I'd love to hear everybody's opinion on this. Is it National Yoga Day, National Selfie Day, World Day of Music? Go.
Go, go, go. I'll keep it open for about 10 more seconds. See what you guys say.
Yeah.
Right.
And anybody know the answer? Andrea, you weren't here when we talked about this. Do you know the answer to this one?
I do not.
Live with the poll?
I'm gonna guess World Day of Music.
Good guess. Good guess. All right, I'm gonna end the poll.
The best thing, Andrea, is that no matter how you answered, you would have been right. Because it's all of the above. And actually, we didn't get the most important one. It is National Arizona Day.
Oh,
who knew, you know, but this is very important to us. So anyway, these funds, and did everybody know who we had?
Yeah, they reported 53% thought it was National Yoga Day, and then 29 National Selfie Day, and then 18% actually got all the above. So
nice.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Every day is a new holiday. We have lots and lots to choose from. So, hey, before we kicking off this topic about personal safety, there's a lot of different areas that we can go with this, but I think of one of the issues for especially new notaries, and something we should all be concerned about is, you know, we're going out sometimes at odd hours of the day and going into people's homes and businesses that are complete strangers to us, right? This is a weird thing, and it feels very insecure, right? It can be a very insecure kind of hazardous situation. Andrea, Stephanie, you've both been doing this for years. What do you think about that? Is it something that takes some getting used to, and you know, how do you kind of be conscious of the risks with that? Any experiences you'd like to share?
Andrea, you can go first.
I was saying the same thing. So I can really attest that when I first started each signing, I was nervous to meet the people, nervous to get to the people's homes, going through the documents, just nervous about the whole ordeal. But one thing that I've learned has calmed me is that initial confirmation call and listening to the person's voice and just kind of setting the tone in that very first conversation of how the signing is going to be. And so that has certainly calmed me. Now, mind you, I think we all have some weird stories. I've had chickens in people's homes and all sorts of crazy things, but that initial conversation certainly eased my mind. And when I have like that tingling that something might be a little off, I am perfectly open with moving it to a public location if necessary.
Have you had to do that, Andrea? Move
have.
the venue?
I have, but not for loan signings, oddly enough. It's been for general notary work when I realized, okay, this particular area is often not a safe area. So let's think about meeting at McDonald's or Starbucks or something like that. Generally, loan signings, I tend to have a pretty good feeling about it.
Really? Okay. Stephanie, how about you? Any experience there?
Oh, I agree with Andrea. The confirmation call sets the tone. I mean, you can tell so much by talking to someone. But I have had to change my location for signings. And for general notary work, especially if it's a man, I always meet at a coffee shop or someplace public. I never go to their home. And then also when you get there, read their body language, because that can tell a whole lot. I've had some situations,
not good.
Not good.
Worse than the chickens that Andrea had in the house.
How about having the police called on you?
Oh my.
Police called on you?
Well, yeah, they were threatening to.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Yeah, it was the husband did not tell the wife that he was refinancing, and I showed up and she didn't know, you know, what this woman was doing there, and they got into an argument and they were swearing at me, and it's a long story, but they threatened to call the police, and I explained to them that the company that hired me, they told me that don't leave until you contact us if there's ever a situation, and they got mad at that. And then I just, like, I was shaking, so I left, pulled down a couple blocks, pulled over, called the signing service and the title company, and then I called Carol. She calmed me down, but it was pretty scary, and I had a full day of closings that day. But you know, those types of situations, really, you can learn from them, and that's what happened for me. Is just read body language.
Yeah, and maybe trust your instincts.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I had a gut feeling when I called, so it didn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think that's one life lesson that I've had is not through notary work, obviously, but just people tend to, the alarms go off, the bells go off in your mind, your gut's telling you something is wrong, and we talk ourselves out of it. And, you know, maybe not 100%, but 8 times out of 10, there was an alarm for a reason, and we need to listen to those, listen to your instincts. I'll share two anecdotes from my mom, actually. One was, I think she talks about this in the course, if I recall, that the times that she's been to houses where there's a hoarder living.
Yeah.
And there's no way into the house. There's no clean place to do a signing. And she's had to do signings outside on the hood of a car as opposed to going inside. But back when she was an escrow manager, they were doing a signing, and the husband and wife were not getting along well. And the husband apparently called. He was expected at the office, and he said he couldn't come in because his wife had just run him over. And I guess they had an argument, and somehow it moved to the driveway of their home. And then she ran him over with the car, I think not once, but twice. And so she had to call the police. And anyway, that was a signing that didn't end well. So, at least for the couple, at least, huh? So,
Yeah, I've had a few hoarders myself. I refuse to go into their homes anymore.
yeah. And
Yeah, I've experienced a hoarder as well.
Yeah.
have you? Yeah. Because it's not just an issue of your safety, it's also your health.
Yeah.
Right, and if it's not a clean place to sit down and do a signing, it's it's probably not good. But Sabrina,
Right.
I think what your first bullet was talking about situational awareness and being aware.
One of the last ones, yeah. It was.
But that starts early. It starts in what Andrea is saying and Stephanie are saying is it starts at the very first phone call, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't know. I've experienced a situation where in the phone call, everything seemed fine, but I arrived there and quickly realized that the home was infested with bed bugs. So then it's kind of like, okay, can we go outside to do this? Because I don't want to bring anything home to my family. So yeah, sometimes you don't realize that there's another situation until you get there, but
Right.
you got to make that call that we're going to do this elsewhere or we're not going to do it at all.
And I think
Yeah,
that
I've
comes
walked
with.
in, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I've walked into a home where there's not only pet feces and urine, but human feces, blood on the sheets, no place to sit. Yeah.
Okay. Stephanie, you
So-
officially got the most gross story.
Yeah, it was pretty gross. I came home and disinfected myself.
20 people just logged off. Thank you.
Those are few and far between.
And you're absolutely right. You might have a few cases a year where you're just like blown away. It's not something that always happens.
Yeah, no, that's true. But you have to be prepared if it does happen, right? You need to be aware.
Absolutely.
I think, one of the things personal security experts advise is making eye contact with people and showing confidence. And it sounds like you're doing that in your interactions with these folks. You're directing what's going to happen.
Right.
Absolutely. Setting the tone.
Now, this sounds very sexist. I suppose it is actually very sexist, but you, all three of you ladies are on the call today, and women as a group tend to be more vulnerable, right? In these situations. Are you doing anything special in terms of making sure that you're protected? For example, are you letting someone know where you are and where you're going? How do you manage that just as a sort of a fail-safe, or is there something else particular that you do?
Go ahead, Stephanie.
So yeah, I usually let someone know where I'm going.
Yeah.
But like, I have a lot of training musically. I've taken voice lessons and I've performed professionally. So I know how to carry myself tall. And that to me is my best weapon. Walking in, being confident, taking control of the table, including telling people where you'd like them to sit. Never back yourself into a corner. Always know where the exits are. And carry your mace or whatever you have for protection.
Louisville Slugger.
Yeah.
Okay. Andrea, how about you?
So I second everything that Stephanie said. And like you said, making that eye contact, you're setting the tone. I'm generally not an assertive person, but in this job,
Uh-huh.
after probably about the first 10 to 15 closings, I realized that I needed to really amend my delivery so that it
Mhm.
shows that I'm running the show.
Right.
Mhm.
And so I've done so and amended my practice so that I'm also exuding confidence, that I know
Right.
what I'm talking about, and that I have no qualms of getting up and leaving if I have to, if I feel that there is something not quite right with the situation.
Mhm. Yeah. Studies show that victims of street crime are more apt to be folks who are not looking, not paying attention, walking arms loaded down with things, not being aware of what's going on. So it
On
sounds
their
like
phone
you're
while they're walking,
Yeah.
we're on the
on their
phone.
phone while they're walking.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that's just good practice anyway, not to do that. If you've watched any of the YouTube videos. I noticed, I don't want to get into a whole discussion. I noticed someone just commented they have a CCW license. Not every state allows that. Arizona happens to be one. I do wonder, and I don't have any particular information on this, but I wonder how employers react. Because a lot of employers have restrictions on carrying a firearm if you're on company business. As a
Well, you know-
contractor, I'm not sure they can
Sorry.
restrict it, but it'd be an interesting side topic.
Mhm.
Well, a lot of signing services state in your contract, no fire alarm, no firearms. So personally, I would never carry one into a loan signing.
Mhm,
I would be afraid that someone would actually use it on me.
mhm.
That's not an option for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have
And-
my license, but in Maryland, you can't. I don't have the license to carry. In Maryland, we're not allowed to do so. However, there has been a lot of talk about it, not necessarily in loan signings, but in other professions where they may start allowing that. I'm with Stephanie. I don't think I would carry one, but I carry other stuff like Stephanie, so that
What on
Um,
earth was that you
Yeah,
just
what
showed
was
us?
it?
so it's a lot going on here.
Oh,
But
okay.
my husband bought this for me, and it has a light on it, but if you press the button, there's an alarm on it. There's the whistle. Well, no, this one's not a whistle. This is like if I need to stab,
Yeah.
I have something pointy. There's the whistle as well,
Yeah.
and there's also the mace that Stephanie brought up. Now, I don't know if this is the regular spray mace or the gel mace. Based on kind of conversations I've had with other people, the gel mace is better because it's more targeted, it shoots farther, whereas the spray can easily spray you as well as the person that you're pointing it at.
Yeah.
So I would recommend that people kind of look into that and kind of figure out which one they think is best for them. But I haven't had to use it, thank the Lord. So I don't know what kind it is, but I'm sure that if I ever have to use it, I'm going to be grateful that I have it. So
Yeah. But it is
Andrea?
important to know how to use it.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrea, I have a question for you. So do you keep that out on the table?
No, it's in my bag. It's in my bag right along with that screwdriver you mentioned. But it's in my bag because I feel like no one should know that I'm protected
Right.
until you really need to know to back off.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah. I've been reading some of the comments while we're talking, and Sabrina, I don't know if you want to highlight, but Donna Reed just said, yes, never spray into the wind, which would be a good one. I told you earlier, don't spray it in an elevator because that you're gonna go down too. But
Yeah.
Sabrina, anything else that we should highlight or maybe even allow somebody to share?
Yeah, we have some. I asked them to share some stories in the chat. There's a story of someone doing a signing. Her name is Rachel, doing a signing, and as she was finishing up some documents, the gentleman reached in his cabinet and pulled out his weapon and put it in in his back holster. And so she had him lead instead of her leaving first because she just didn't trust him. But some other panelists are thanking you guys for sharing these experiences because they would have never thought that these can happen, but not to deter anyone, right? Just to let people know the kind of the things that are that can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why the comment from Donna? I'd love to, Donna, also try not to wear your hair in a ponytail. What's it's easier to grab, is that it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, all right, very
Oh
interesting.
no.
I don't have that problem.
It looks good though.
Thank you.
That's one advantage to short hair. If you're a man, don't wear a tie, I guess.
Yeah.
Or wear a clip-on, I suppose, right?
And of course, you can always take, I think when Sabrina sent out the message about what the topic was going to be, I mentioned something about taking self-defense courses. That's always great. And around here, they tend to have it for free or like $20 or something like that. They're usually pretty reasonable, but definitely a great idea.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great tip, Andrea. A self-defense course, because it's one thing for us to talk about this on the call. It's something completely else to be in a classroom setting, to practice these things, to, you know, to really get yourself mentally prepared, right, for taking action, physically kind of ready. So, Sabrina, what are some of the other bullet points that you mentioned in your article? What else haven't we talked about?
So maybe one is we talked a little bit about trusting your intuition and being confident, but some of the others were researching and informing someone of the location of your signing, having the strict boundaries. We touched on a lot of it. One of the main points that I actually saw in a really good YouTube video for safety was always keeping above half a tank of gas in your car. Because you never know if a signing is going to be somewhere far from a gas station, or you're going to have issues or have to relocate. So I think that was a really good tip that I read that I think I would just use even though I'm not a notary.
Right.
And make sure your car is serviced and running good.
Yeah, you don't want to break down in the wrong place, right?
Yeah.
And that's from business reasons. You don't want to break down. Nowadays with gas prices, though, it's hard to keep a full tank, isn't it?
You're absolutely right. It makes me wonder if they're putting water in it. I feel like I'm using more gas than ever. But
one of the folks I'm reading, Pamela Bauer, says, I've heard if you don't feel comfortable to stop the signing and leave. And, you know, could I guess she's asking, could she actually do that, or what would you think?
Well, I think she's saying that she could potentially agitate someone even more. Like if you're scared of someone and then you want to leave, but you're scared that will agitate them even more. What kind of tips do you have for them?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I'm really good at calming people down in a you know, a lot of times the signers will have a bad what am I saying? Trying to say they've had problems with the lender and the title company, and so you know you're the only person that they see oftentimes. So they take their agitation out on you.
Yeah.
I'm really good at turning the situation around and calming people down. So I've never really had to walk away, other than that one time.
Yeah.
There's actually a really great tip in the chat where you don't necessarily have, if you're that scared, you don't necessarily have to tell them, oh, I'm leaving. Just say, hey, I have to grab something from my car. Would you mind? And then get in your car and leave. That's, I think, the point where your safety is more important than your reputation with that signer and even that hiring client. And I think that your safety should be their priority over getting a signature.
Yeah.
You know, frankly, if you're that scared, I think another option is, if you really have caught, I wouldn't advocate doing this just because, you know, things are a little off, but if you're really scared, 911, dial 911, tell them you're, oh yeah, I'm just at this address, you know, and then get out, right? Before you do anything else. But I'm sorry, Andrea, you were going to say something?
I was going to say that sometimes people worry about the fees and ruining, like Sabrina said, ruining your reputation. but your safety is far more important. And so
Mhm.
if like sometimes because you've gone out there and you've printed the documents, oftentimes you will get that print and travel fee. But
Mhm.
some companies, you just might have to forfeit the entire fee. But at the end of the day, if you were in an unsafe situation and you said, I really need to leave the situation, that is far more important than the few dollars you spent on printing and traveling to that person's home or to the location.
Yeah, your safety is really paramount.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
We tried to get a guest speaker on, but we couldn't get in touch with her on time. There was a very funny YouTube video, and Sabrina, do you happen to know the name? Maybe somebody will know the name in the chat, but this young woman in LA who became a notary and tells a hilarious story about being hit on by one of her first
Been there, done
signings.
that.
What's that?
Been there.
Done that.
Been there, done that? Okay. All right. You want to share, Stephanie?
No.
No. Okay. I thought you were going to say, well, that's how I met so-and-so. No,
No, but I just, yeah, I've had those situations before.
yeah,
I'm sure a lot of women have, or even men.
Yeah.
yeah. It's never happened to me, but.
Darn.
Yeah. Like Kenneth in the comments, he said there are and will be an occasion where you have to walk. People can abuse you. And so I
Yeah.
think it's important, right, to have boundaries and draw the line on certain things. And then I wanted to pull out that last poll that we had to see if our panelists
Yeah.
have experienced, different things during their signings. So I'm going to go ahead and launch that now. It's called Personal Safety for Loan Signing Agents. That should show up
Okay.
for you guys. It's just 3 questions. The first one, have you ever felt unsafe or uncomfortable during a loan signing? So we kind of just want to know if you guys have experienced this. The second one was, what are some precautions that you take for personal safety to make you feel more protected during a signing? And you'll see some different options there. The third question, it says, how do you establish boundaries with signers and other clients during a closing and signing? Okay, so I'll leave that up for about another minute or so while we talk, and then we'll see the poll results.
I think that last is so critical.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're busy and you're distracted and you're trying to conduct a signing and you're up against a situation where, hey, this isn't working, I mean, there's something wrong here, and you're maybe nervous and scared, you need to really predefine where your boundaries are, right? And I mean, even in terms of personal respect, it's also good to have an understanding of where your boundaries are, what you're going to allow people to say if they're upset or angry, and what is just that's enough. We don't go there. And we all have, I mean, it's different for everybody, but it's good to have those sort of pre-made in your mind, I think. It sounds like you're both sort of already done that. Yeah. I mean, we live in a world where we encounter a lot of weird stuff. It's good to kind of know ahead of time what you'll tolerate and what you won't, right?
But all in all, loan signing is pretty safe because they've been vetted by the lenders and the bank and everything. It's the general notary work that
A little
you
more
can get
nervous
into
about.
trouble. Yeah.
Yeah.
100% agree.
And at the end of the day, with a loan signing, people know where you went to. They know exactly, what the appointment was for. They for sure know who the person was that you're meeting, right?
Yeah.
For somebody to get that far. So yeah, there's a little less risk other than maybe being uncomfortable or so forth. So what did your polls show, Sabrina?
All right, I'm going to end the poll right now and we'll see the results.
Oh, okay.
All right.
We're just experimenting with these polls. I think they're pretty cool, aren't they?
Just using some fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so it says, have you ever felt unsafe or uncomfortable during a signing? We had 28% of our participants report back yes. So 72% no. So that's a good thing, right? We don't want people feeling unsafe, but this was obviously a good topic and for the people who have experienced those things. Let's see, second question was, what are some precautions that you take for your personal safety to make you feel more protected during a signing? So the options that I put were, I carry a protective weapon, either taser, pepper spray, bat, security alarm, and that came back at 28%. 8% reported back that they are trained in self-defense. 56% reported that they always let someone know where they are during a signing. And the last was 8% at, I never go to a signing alone, even especially if it's in an area that I do not know. And that was another point that we didn't talk about, where there is really nothing wrong with bringing someone to a signing with you. Maybe not in the actual signing, but to come along in your car with you or something like that. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if you're new in your notary journey.
Yeah, but they can't come into the signing though.
Yeah.
Because of privacy laws.
Privacy, right.
Perfect.
Right.
And then the last question we had was, how do you establish boundaries with signers and other clients during a closing and signing? And so 32% reported that they always keep signers on schedule and communicate that their time is very important. So you are not just a notary, right? You have a job, you're here, and that needs to be respected. 56% said that they clearly explain their role in the home loan signing process. So this just means that they're letting them know why they're there, right? And I think that's really important for a boundary. 8% said that they don't answer any questions about the documents. I just point and they sign. And this was a little bit of a trick because you should be answering some questions, right? You don't just point and sign. As the notary, you can answer who, what, and where on the document, right? You just can't advise them. So you make sure you are answering questions.
You snuck a trick question in.
I snuck a trick question on them. And then the last 4 actually reported that I don't know if I have any boundaries with signers. And so I think this was a great poll. And I think for those people, you should start to determine if you do have these boundaries and what are your boundaries and how are you going to implement them. So
It comes with practice.
Absolutely.
You know, you get your routine down.
Yeah, absolutely. Pamela, I just saw your note, and yeah, indeed, my dad would always accompany my mom to signings. He wouldn't go in necessarily, but would wait in the car. But yeah, they did their notary business together. Yeah, exactly, Sabrina. So I also noticed a question earlier about remote online notarization, and we should actually make that a topic. A future topic for us to discuss. And Stephanie has spent the last several months doing only remote online notarization. So we have a resident expert. Andrea, I think you do some of them too, right?
No, I've done many hybrids, but I have not done any remote. So I am happy to learn all that Stephanie has to offer.
Great. Okay, so we'll schedule that for a future topic, and I think we're actually, we're a little past 30 minutes. I did want to pass along something to those of you who are new graduates of Notary2Pro. As you know, we launched our new graduate website a little over a month ago, and we've had a little bit of transition with our development staff. We had to change developers and some other things going on. And so we've been a little delayed in getting new graduates access to the graduate website. If you have, please be patient. We're trying to resolve that in the next couple of days, and then you'll get notification that you have access to the site. And we really look forward to your feedback on the site and the content and your involvement with Notary2Pro. So with that, have I missed anything, guys?
No, I don't think so.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. And thank you, our audience, for joining us. We're so happy that you could spend a half hour with us, and we look forward to next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Hello, I'm Michael Ray, CEO of Notary2Pro. Thanks for joining us for this webinar. Be sure to see our website, notary2pro.com, for more information and resources. Also, don't forget to sign up with us there for great additional updates, news, and tools. Notary2Pro is the most respected professional signing agent course in the United States. Founded by Carol Ray in 2009, Notary2Pro has trained more than 10,000 notaries to become professional signing agents. Our graduates are preferred by more signing agencies because only Notary2Pro enables notaries to practice error-free signings. Thanks again, and see you next time.